Hey there, could you list this house? This one like right across the canal from me? Let me just ask you, do you wish you had more listings, more houses to sell? I mean, do you rack your brains about this? Because I used to. Agents are always trying to figure out, how to get more listings. My neighbor in back there, she decided to list her house. What went through her head? What went through her head when she was deciding on who to list her house with, right? How did she choose her agent? A long time ago, I figured out the answer to that question lies in answering this question, and that is, what do sellers want? So all of you agents watching this video, how would you get my neighbor to list her house with you? Just ask yourself this question. Put yourself in her shoes. Does she want a bunch of strangers running through her house 7 days a week, 24 hours a day? Does she want to keep her house clean 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, schedule her meals around your showings? Yard sign. You think she comes home, look at that yard sign over there. You think she loves coming home? Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. No, but you see it? It's like right over there. Okay. You think she loves coming home and sitting by that yard sign, just pulling up a chair right there next to the yard sign? Did she say, if only I could find an agent who had more red in their sign, and that way when I'm sitting by it at the end of the day, that'll make me happy, right? Now, she probably knows that, this is a difficult process. It's also hardly a starter home, so she also knows that this is going to be a long-term proposition. She's going to need to have her house inspected. Mary Beth LePage, how are you? Long time no hear. So she says she's going to have her house inspected and appraised by the new buyers, and that's just loads of fun, right? Having strangers come into your house and then just give you like a 40-page report on everything that's wrong with your house, right? Also why it's worth nowhere near what you think it's worth, right? That's also fun. I mean, when you think about everything that somebody has to go through to sell a house, you probably understand why people decide just not to sell and just stay put. I mean, why deal with the hassle? I mean, honey, let's just remodel or let's just add on, right? I mean, but I'm making a little bit of a joke. I want to make this fun, right? But do you have a better understanding about what's going on inside the seller's head? Can you empathize with that lady over there? And if you really want to help her sell her house, you probably need to figure out a way to minimize as much of that stress and hassle that we've been talking about, that we've been joking. And let me tell you, I went through the same exercise myself, and then everything changed for me once I figured out the seller fantasy. No, it's nothing dirty or anything like that. You don't need to block my video or, have the kids leave the room. I promise you, it's nothing like that. But the seller fantasy in a nutshell is, I'm going to meet with you today, and tomorrow morning the money's going to be in my bank account. Okay, we know that's not real world, but again, the seller fantasy is, I'm going to meet with Mary Beth today, I'm going to sign the papers, and tomorrow morning the money's going to be in my bank account. So just stay with me for a minute here. Would you sell a lot of homes if this is what you offered? Right? Because this is their fantasy, right? So if this is what you offered, would you sell a lot more homes? Sure. So what's the one thing that you need to do in order to come even close to reaching that seller fantasy? What's the one major thing that you need? You need a buyer. Specifically, you need a database of qualified buyers. Now, how do you get them to qualify themselves and give you a real telephone number? It was simple for me because I would just tell them, hey, I can text you the address as soon as I take a new listing. As soon as I write down the paperwork and everything like that, I can text that to you. Now, it's going to take a couple weeks until we get the photos and the drone tour and everything scheduled for the premier open house. And the seller's shooting for a week from Saturday. And in fairness, that's going to be the first time I can let you in to see the house, right? I mean, we got to play fair. But in the meantime, you can drive by, you can do all your research. Assuming you like what you see, you can be prepared to write an offer at the spot. Now, it's not about me. But this is what I was doing, and I was having 3, 4, 5 or more offers the very first weekend that a property hit the market. So back to the original question, what do sellers want? Let me just ask you this. Does this come closer to matching the seller fantasy versus real world reality? Reality, is that a phrase? I don't know, but you get what I'm saying, right? So coming to this lady with 2, 3, 4 offers within 48 hours of the grand opening would probably make her pretty darn happy. Her story would probably be something you could leverage into more listings and more referrals. At the very least, you'd probably win her listing with this performance, telling this story about the person that you did on this house over here. Hey, this is what we did, and we had 3, 4, 5 offers the very first weekend. So if you list with us, we can replicate this probably for you, right? That would be pretty cool. So I hope you'll just approach your next listing appointment from the seller side of things. Just completely get inside their shoes, feel what they're feeling. Get inside the sellers, what their hopes are, what their dreams are, what their fantasy is, and what you're going to do to make it come true. Okay? Until next time, think big and serve big. Take care.